Join me as I take on the challenge of breaking free from toxic family members and reclaiming my peace. The reality is, many of us have been conditioned to believe that family is forever, no matter what. But the truth is, being part of a toxic family dynamic can be incredibly draining and even detrimental to our mental health. It's time to acknowledge that it's okay to prioritize our own well-being, even if that means setting boundaries or distancing ourselves from those who are supposed to love and support us. When it comes to toxic family dynamics, there are often clear signs that something is amiss. Maybe you feel anxious or stressed whenever you're around certain family members, or perhaps you feel belittled, criticized, or judged. You might even feel like you're walking on eggshells, never knowing when someone will lash out or explode. Whatever the specific signs may be, the emotional toll of being in these relationships can be overwhelming. Toxic family members often have a way of making us feel guilty, responsible, or even crazy. They might deny their hurtful behavior, blame us for their actions, or make unreasonable demands. And because family is often tied to our sense of identity and belonging, it can be incredibly hard to recognize when someone is being toxic or to take action to protect ourselves. The emotional toll of toxic family dynamics can also manifest physically, with symptoms like headaches, digestive problems, or even chronic pain. It's exhausting, both mentally and physically, to constantly be on guard against the next attack or criticism. But how do we identify toxic behaviors in our family members? One way is to tune into our own emotions and reactions. Do we feel drained, anxious, or depressed around certain people? Do we find ourselves constantly explaining, justifying, or apologizing for things that aren't our fault? Paying attention to our own emotional responses can be a powerful way to recognize when something is off. I personally know how hard it is to recognize toxic behaviors, especially when they're masked as concern or love. For years, I struggled to set boundaries with a family member who seemed to care about me, but ultimately drained me with their constant criticism and demands. It took me a long time to realize that I didn't owe anyone an explanation or justification for my actions, and that I had the right to say no or to walk away. Sometimes, toxic family members can be master manipulators, making us feel guilty for setting boundaries or prioritizing our own needs. But the truth is, we don't owe anyone an explanation for taking care of ourselves. We don't have to justify our decision to prioritize our own well-being, whether that means setting boundaries, taking a step back, or seeking outside support. There's a moment of empowerment that comes when we finally decide to take control of our own lives and set boundaries or distance ourselves from toxic family members. It's a moment of liberation where we realize that we don't have to tolerate abuse, disrespect, or neglect from anyone, regardless of their relationship to us.